let's get to the point. You're tuned into the Philadelphia Eagles now, and I'm here to discuss a new mock draft that has emerged, which we will analyze. We'll look at which players the NFL draft analyst has projected for the Philadelphia Eagles in the first 2 rounds of the draft. This is the last mock draft before the NFL's final event at the end of April. Before we dive in, I want to clarify that this mock is exclusive to a subscription service. Here, we offer all our content for free on YouTube, providing high-quality analysis. It's exciting to see the Philadelphia Eagles in the spotlight in the football world. Recently, during the NFL owner meetings, other teams showed envy towards the Eagles, sparking discussions about banning the push play due to the Eagles' dominance in executing it. Looking at the NFL draft, the Eagles will make their selection at the 32nd spot, which is the last of the first round. While this may not be ideal for draft fans, it reflects the success of the Eagles as Super Bowl champions. During the NFL owner meetings, attention was focused on Nick Sirianni, who had a significant media presence during his availability. The focus was also on Howie Roseman, regarded as the best general manager in the league, and when Jeffrey Lurie entered the room, everyone turned to him as he is seen as the best owner in the NFL. Currently, the Eagles are recognized as the benchmark of the National Football League. They're extremely talented and remain one of the youngest teams in the league. In February, the Eagles went to New Orleans and did what many considered impossible, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs to secure their second Lombardi trophy, making this an exciting moment for Eagles fans. The team should continue building on this success, so let's dive deeper into the draft discussions. With the 32nd pick, the last of the first round, the Eagles enjoy the advantage that comes with winning the Lombardi trophy. Now, let's analyze the projections leading up to the Eagles' pick at this 32nd overall selection. The analyst predicts that Cam Ward, the quarterback, will be the first pick for Tennessee, followed by Travis Hunter, a versatile wide receiver and cornerback, being selected by the Cleveland Browns 2nd overall. Abdul Carter, a passionate Eagles fan and talented pass rusher from Penn State, is expected to go to the Giants with the 3rd pick. The New England Patriots aim to strengthen their offensive line for Drake, made by selecting Will Campbell, an offensive tackle from LSU. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, is projected to help the Jaguars reinforce their defensive line at the 5th pick. Ashton Jenney, a dynamic and talented running back, is a solid pick for the Las Vegas Raiders at the 6th selection. Armin Menu, my favorite offensive tackle in this draft class from Missouri, is expected to be selected by the Jets with the 7th pick. Jalen Walker, an off-the-ball linebacker and pass rusher, is mentioned as a potential candidate for the Panthers at the 8th spot, continuing the trend of Georgia players getting drafted in the top 10. Shatter Sanders is expected to join Kellen Moore in the Saints at the 9th pick. Tyler Warren, another standout from Penn State, will likely give Caleb Williams another option for the Bears at the 10th spot. Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, is projected to go to the Niners at the 11th pick. The Cowboys should select running back Omarion Hampton, raising the question of whether this might resemble the surprising first-round selections of Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs a few years ago. At the 12th pick, Jay Barron, one of the top cornerbacks in the draft, is anticipated to join the Dolphins. Finally, Colston Loveland, another tight end, is expected to be chosen by the Colts at the 14th pick. Mike Green, who recorded 17 sacks last year and led the nation with over 20 tackles for loss, is also expected to be a standout pick. He made his first-round entry a few years ago when the Cowboys selected him at the 12th pick. Jay Barron, highlighted as one of the best zone cornerbacks in the draft. At the 13th pick, the Dolphins went with Colston Loveland, another tight end. For the Colts, at the 14th pick, Mike Green, who posted 17 sacks last year and over 20 tackles for loss, led the country in both statistics, and now he joins the Falcons at the 15th pick, who need help pressuring the quarterback. Matthew Golden was selected at the 16th pick from Texas to the Cardinals, while Jayad Campbell, a solid pick as a linebacker, was taken by the Bengals at the 17th pick, who are looking to strengthen their defense. Another offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks from Texas, was chosen by Seattle, and Nick Amon, a notable athlete, was selected as a safety by the Buccaneers, while Todd B.S. remains at the 19th pick. McMillan is a faller here in Kuiper's mock and goes to the Broncos at the 20th pick, a wide receiver from Arizona with excellent receiving skills who could be a good addition if this pans out. Derek Carman, a defensive tackle from Oregon, who had almost 60 pressures last season, ends up with the Steelers at the 21st pick. Gray Zabel, an offensive lineman with great versatility, joins the team at the 22nd pick. Mike Williams, an edge rusher who dealt with injuries last year, drops a few spots and joins the Packers, coming from Georgia, with the 23rd pick. Donovan Jackson, one of the few offensive linemen from Ohio State who will be drafted early, is picked by the Vikings at the 24th pick. Josh Connerly, an offensive tackle from Oregon, is selected by the Texans at the 25th pick, who need reinforcement on their lines. Jackson Dart, a quarterback from Mississippi, is chosen by the Rams at the 26th pick as a potential backup and developing quarterback. Malachi Starks, a highly regarded player, is picked by the Ravens at the 27th pick, coming from Georgia, and could be an excellent pick if he reaches the Eagles at the 32nd. Donovan Ezraku, who has some athletic concerns but is highly productive, is selected by the Lions at the 28th pick, coming from Boston College. Shamar Stewart, an exceptional edge rusher, is chosen by Washington at the 29th pick. The lack of production from Maxwell Harrison, a cornerback from Kentucky, who was picked by the Bills at the 30th pick, is a concern as they continue to reinforce their defense. Josh Simmons, recovering from knee surgery, has talent but needs to get back to full form. The Chiefs, urgently looking for help on the offensive line, sign an athlete for $30 million and now bring Simmons from Ohio State with the 31st pick. Finally, the Eagles opt for an edge rusher from the University of Tennessee with the 32nd pick. This pick is intriguing for several reasons, and we'll explore why. First, what was highlighted about the pick? The current champions lost some key pieces on their defense, including a crucial edge rusher. Pressuring the quarterback is essential for the defense, and now there's a notable gap in the edge position. There are varied opinions in the league about whether this player truly deserves to be a first-round pick, but he has traits that could develop him into a fast disruptor if placed in the right system, having accumulated a significant number of sacks in the last 2 years, finishing second in the country in pressure rate last season. An interview with the coach highlighted that after losing many starters, it is crucial to strengthen the defense by focusing on the defensive line, acknowledging that the team-building strategy is to solidify the trenches on the line of scrimmage. A concern in the league is that a good player once again falls into the hands of a team, someone who could have been chosen earlier. The team gets a great opportunity, and there's an impression that management is doing this once again. Without a doubt, there are teams that could look at this pick and think, seriously, such a talented player falls to the 32nd pick. Looking at this player, he has good size, but is a bit lighter, weighing about the same as other athletes at his position. It's common to question how such a skilled athlete could fall to the 32nd pick. This reminds me of the case of Jalen Carter, who slid to the 9th pick, and Nolan Smith, who was selected at the 30th. Analyzing James Pierce, you can see that he has an imposing stature, measuring 6 feet 5 inches, although his weight is slightly lower, around 245 pounds. Putting him in a similar category to Hassan Riek and Nolan Smith in some ways. However, I would argue that Smith and Riek show more versatility as edge players. Pierce, on the other hand, is a strong athlete with a respectable track record, having been named to the first-team All-SEC in 2023. He shows explosiveness and strength as he moves off the line, although he may not have as much flexibility. However, he compensates for this limitation with sharp instincts. He has a notable ability to read plays effectively. I have a particular admiration for players with this instinctive ability and field awareness. His speed and wingspan are impressive, but it is crucial for him to work on his flexibility and strength to progress in his career. This could become a development project for the defensive line coach. During the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, Pierce had a remarkable performance, achieving an athletic score of 9.4 on a scale of 0 to 10. He measured 6 feet 5 inches and 245 pounds, showing impressive height, although his weight raises some concerns. His vertical jump wasn't the most impressive, with 31 inches, but his broad jump signaled potential for speed in short distances. What truly stands out is that at 6 feet 5 inches and 245 pounds, he clocked in under 4.5, completing 40 yards in 4.7 seconds, and his arms measure almost 33 inches long, indicating both his quickness and athleticism. However, there are some concerns about his character. Because of this, opinions are diverse, with some placing him among the top 15 prospects, while others see him sliding down the rankings or possibly going into the second round. He faced some legal complications in December when he was arrested for disobeying police orders after being pulled over for speeding and driving with a suspended license. These charges were later dropped after he proved that he had obtained a valid driver's license and paid the court fees related to the infraction. It is important to note that the current administration has roots in a previous coach and is now under new leadership. The team has a history of taking calculated risks on players, something that is possible due to the strong culture and leadership built within the organization, ensuring a stable and structured foundation. The team's approach originates from a previous coach and has developed under current leadership. This organization is able to take risks with athletes because of the strong culture they've established, along with competent leadership within the franchise. Stability and structure are key elements for their success, which explains why the union of a player had such a positive impact. The team felt confident in selecting him at the 9th position, especially considering the struggles other teams faced in terms of organizational consistency that year. The local atmosphere is notable, as the athlete finds himself surrounded by prominent figures, a solid owner, an effective general manager, and competent coaching staff, all collaborating for a favorable dynamic in the locker room. As a result, he was able to avoid off-field problems and stood out as one of the top talents in the league. Analyzing his stats, he played in 13 games, accumulating 38 tackles and 13 tackles for loss, showcasing his ability to disrupt plays in the backfield, as well as securing sacks. The total number of sacks is 7.5, and his pressure numbers are impressive, placing him among the top edge players in the league with 55 pressures recorded that season. Looking at his career stats, he began to earn significant playing time and found his rhythm in 2023, finishing with 27 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks, as well as 52 pressures. While the totals for tackles for loss and sacks were slightly higher 2 seasons ago, his pressure numbers increased last year. The depth of the defensive line is remarkable, and if these athletes continue to evolve, they could solidify their position as one of the top defensive lines in the league. One player stood out last year as one of the highest rated at his position, and with the departure of a teammate, he is about to receive more playing time, creating an opportunity to stand out even more. There's also the question of whether an athlete can lose weight, increase his stamina, and make significant progress in a crucial year for his development. The trajectory of this athlete continues, and it will be interesting to watch his evolution. In the last season, the interior defensive line players, specializing in pressuring the quarterback in the National Football League, had notable performances. With the departure of a key player, there's a chance for more playing time, which could lead to even better performance. It remains to be seen if a specific player will be able to lose weight, increase his stamina, and make a significant jump this year. Another athlete continues to be recognized as one of the most imposing defensive forces in the league, showing comprehensive skills. A rookie registered a sack, followed by a significant increase in his second year, adding more during the playoffs. However, there are concerns about the depth of the defensive line, which led the team to address this issue early on. A backup player who was selected in the 3rd round didn't have a role last season, while another player who possesses great value traits made impactful plays last year as a prominent contributor from a renowned university. A player who wasn't selected in the draft from a well-known school also joined the team after last year's draft, and there might be a position change for another player. If a particular athlete is among the best available, it could be a risk worth taking, as depth at this crucial position is vital. There's confidence in his abilities and the expectation that the organizational structure will integrate this athlete successfully. As the current championship team, the stakes are high and decisions need to be made carefully. Opinions on this athlete selection at the 32nd pick are welcome, and thoughts can be shared in the comment section. This pick may generate positive or negative opinions, and all perspectives are accepted. Shifting gears, the conversation now turns to how a local baseball team is doing this season. They've started off strong at a famous location known for being one of the best venues in Major League Baseball, and a good number of tickets are available. Prices on a ticket-selling app tend to drop as the event approaches. The local baseball team's season opener has been quite positive. The venue is celebrated for its vibrant atmosphere, and many tickets will be available when the team returns home after a series of away games against rivals to face another important team. With last-minute offers, it's possible to find great savings on sports events, comedy shows, theatrical productions, and much more. The app also offers fantastic features, making it easy to buy last-minute tickets by quickly highlighting the best deals within the stadium. There are specific promotions that allow extra savings when choosing a section and letting the app select the seats. The total price feature is particularly beneficial, as it clearly displays the total cost, avoiding surprise fees at the time of purchase. It's also interesting that you can view your seat's perspective before finalizing the purchase, ensuring you have clarity about what to expect when you arrive. Switching topics, a recent pick was made with the 32nd overall pick. As attention shifts to the next round, the team will make its pick with the last selection of this round. The anticipation for this moment has brought some surprises, especially with a pair of quarterbacks expected to be selected consecutively at the start of the second round, one going to a team at the 33rd pick and the other to a different team at the 34th. A player has received an invite to a highlight event in Green Bay. A pressure position player from a renowned university is about to join another team, while another athlete will be selected by a different team at the 36th pick. The selection of a linebacker from the same university by another team at the 37th pick is interesting, as he's rising in draft projections. As for another player, there seems to be an underestimation after a less impressive season. He stands out among the top receivers in this draft class, offering another offensive option for a notable quarterback. The selection of athletes is becoming increasingly captivating, with a particular spotlight on Carson Schweizinger, a linebacker from the University of California in Los Angeles, who has been rising in draft rankings. The Raiders select him at the 37th pick. Luther Burton is a player who, after a less notable 2024 season, I believe is being underrated, although I view him as one of the top receivers of this generation. He would be a significant addition to Drake May, who clearly needs more options beyond Stefon Diggs and Kendrick Bourne, making him an excellent pick at the 38th pick. Walter Nolan should be evaluated at the 32nd pick for Philadelphia, while the Bears select Azier Thomas, a cornerback for Florida State, at the 39th pick. Florida State has been making a name for itself in developing talented professionals in recent years. Moving on to New Orleans, where at the 40th pick, Tavon Henderson, a running back from Ohio State, is selected to join the Chicago Bears. Elijah Ao, a tight end who excels at extending the field, is selected by the Jets at the 42nd pick, which I consider an excellent choice, especially if they don't select Warren in the first round. Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle, is the pick for the Niners at the 43rd pick. Trey Amos, a cornerback from Mississippi, heads to the Cowboys at the 44th pick. Jonas Savannah, a versatile offensive lineman from the University of Arizona, is drafted by the Colts at the 45th pick, where he will join Quentin Nelson. Benjamin Morrison, a playmaking cornerback from the University of Notre Dame, is heading to the Falcons at the 46th pick, while they continue to seek to strengthen their defense. Tyler Booker is a promising pick. I believe he could be an immediate starter, even without standing out in athletic tests, joining Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals as the 37th pick. Darius Alexander, a defensive tackle from Toledo, is an athlete I admire, coming from a smaller institution and going to the Dolphins at the 48th pick. JT Malaho, an edge rusher from Ohio State, is selected by the Bengals at the 49th pick. Siobhan Rawl, who would probably have been picked in the first round if he hadn't gotten injured last year, is a cornerback from East Carolina and heads to Seattle after a pre-draft visit. Quinshon Judkins, another running back from Ohio State, is selected by the Broncos at the 51st pick. Jaden Higgins, a big receiver from Iowa State, goes to the Seahawks at the 52nd pick. Nick Scorton, an edge rusher from Texas A&M, is chosen by the Buccaneers at the 53rd pick. K. Beck, a receiver from TCU, is a solid choice for the Packers at the 54th pick. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a now viral video making the rounds on social media, Josh Sweat, linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals, appears to open up about one of the boldest moves of his career and the unexpected regret that came with it. Sitting in what looks like a candid off-season interview, Sweat pauses, looks directly into the camera, and says, looking back, I never should have left Philly. The confession has sparked intense speculation about what might really be going on behind the scenes just weeks after his blockbuster move to the desert. Sweat's departure from the Philadelphia Eagles came on the heels of one of the most dominant seasons of his career. In 2024, he racked up 8 sacks, 41 tackles, and delivered a monster performance in Super Bowl 59, recording 2.5 sacks and helping the Eagles crush the Kansas City Chiefs in a revenge match for the ages. At just 27, it seemed he was becoming a defensive cornerstone in Philly, a player the city could build around for years to come. So when he signed a 4-year, $76.4 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals in March 2025, the move shocked many. While the contract was hefty, with $41 million guaranteed, fans and analysts questioned why he'd walk away from a team poised to stay at the top. The Eagles' fan base was divided, some thankful for his Super Bowl heroics, others feeling betrayed. Now, with Sweat's latest comments, that conversation has shifted entirely. Inside NFL circles, some are already whispering about potential tension in Arizona, where the franchise is still rebuilding. Could Sweat be struggling to find his place on a team with a different culture and expectations? Or is it simply homesickness for a locker room that treated him like family and a city that embraced his grit? Either way, Sweat's comments have opened the door to an emotional narrative that fans can't stop talking about. Josh Sweat's playing style has always been a blend of explosiveness and precision. Known for his lightning-fast first step and ability to bend around offensive tackles, he thrives in high-pressure situations where quick decisions matter most. Sweat's signature move, using his long arms to swat down passes or collapse the edge, became a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks in Philadelphia. His versatility as both a pass rusher and a run stopper makes him a rare asset, capable of impacting the game on every down. Beyond his physical gifts, Sweat brings a quiet intensity to the field that resonates deeply with teammates. He's not the loudest voice in the locker room, but when he speaks, players listen. Former coaches and teammates have often described him as a locker room anchor, someone who leads by example through relentless work ethic, film study, and accountability. That kind of presence is something head coach Nick Sirianni values deeply, especially as he builds a culture focused on discipline, connection, and trust. In Sirianni's system, which emphasizes a dynamic and aggressive defense, Sweat's return would be seamless. He already understands the playbook, the terminology, and most importantly, the expectations. His experience in big games, particularly his Super Bowl performance, makes him a veteran presence the younger players can rally behind. With the Eagles always striving for depth and flexibility on the defensive line, Sweat's ability to rotate across formations would immediately elevate the unit's performance. If a return to Philadelphia ever materialized, it wouldn't just be about filling a roster spot. It would be about reigniting a connection that never truly faded. Sweat's skill set aligns perfectly with what the Eagles look for in a pass rusher. His personality fits the city's blue-collar ethos. And his heart, if his recent comments are any indication, may have never truly left Lincoln Financial Field. As for the Eagles, they've remained silent, at least officially. But insiders suggest there's real interest in monitoring Sweat's situation going forward. Could a dramatic reunion someday be on the table? If this week has shown anything, it's that in the NFL, no chapter is ever truly closed. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.